All right, a bright morning right away from plot 19, where the backland, that's in ARUA City, and that is where exactly we are located. And I must say, it's a very bright morning with no signs of rains or maybe other things, but I must say it's also a lovely week. We're already in the middle of the week. It's a Wednesday, the 20th of, that is the month of March. And for those fasting, most of the Muslims, today is also the 10th day that you are into your fasting. And I must say, we must also maintain the holiness within this month. And that definitely will also really maybe also help God. I also have some sympathy towards the heat wave that is ongoing this week. And you realize that a lot of people are now complaining about the heat wave, of the prices of fans, I do understand, have also shot up. And we are seeing those people who had ACs broken down are working on their ACs, and that should be an indication that the heat wave is really having its pinch on the people already, and that also calls for one thing, only prayers. And this is where we also need to pray. And recently we also did see several campaigns that is in relation to tree planting, and one person who actually commented on this same issue is the Archbishop of Uganda, that is Kazimba Mugalu, also did comment on the tree planting strategy. They are saying whoever is giving birth, at least when you're giving birth to a child or when your woman is pregnant, you need to ensure that you plant trees, because without planting trees necessarily, we are going to be suffering, and we may see maybe doom ahead of us. So I think to avoid all this, there's need for people to plant trees. And yesterday we also did see in sports, as the quarterfinals did go on there, and really I will be able to tell you later on, maybe in the due course of the show, maybe which schools progressed, that is to the round of, maybe to the semis. Definitely that is also something I will be letting you know later on there, maybe which schools exited the other. For those who are outside ARUA, I will also really be letting you know that exactly maybe later on in the show. But for now, you are most welcome from wherever you're watching us from. For those of you watching us within ARUA City, those catching us within Maracha, those in Terego, those in Yumbe, Moyo, Jumani, Pakwach, Zombo, Paida, and other parts of the world. Really, I must also really welcome you on board, not forgetting my brothers and sisters catching us all the way in parts of South Sudan, those in DRC as well. I do not forget you. And then not forgetting those of also watching us overseas. I do understand that there are quite many of you who are watching us overseas in the parts of Middle East, in Dubai, in Qatar. I will really say it's great having you on board, and you are most welcome from wherever you are watching us from. And that is the beauty of WESTNILE television. You can actually watch us anytime at any part of the world. All you need to do is just quite simple, have connection to the internet, and also really maybe rush out to our various platforms where you can access us vividly from any time of the day. That is also something really I must say is there for you. And now to start off your day, this is the Kokoliriko live show with me, Farish Majid, and really in a similar way, I want to still also welcome you on board. And remember, you too can also be part of the show later on by maybe commenting on our various social media or feedback generating platforms, and really feel free to drop your comments there, and I will be in place also to read and share them with the rest of the viewers. And now let's start off the discussion. That is from Dokolo, that is in Lango sub-region, because this is still northern Uganda, but we want to start off the discussions from there, where we are seeing candidates promising voters heaven on earth. And this is something also we are seeing going on there, because all the political parties with their candidates in place on ground. Yesterday we did see a number of them campaigning really for their voters, and the other day also we did see National Unity Platform coming through and also promising the voters on who exactly they need to vote. And now yesterday we did see NRM also coming through, and FDC as well is not really also leaving the place, not forgetting UPC. All these are really also eyeing that flag, that to see to it that they lead the Kolo in the next 2 years also to come. And that is something also really we want to start off our discussions with. But now the question I'm asking you, the viewer, is who do you think needs to actually take the mantle? Because we have several candidates who are fronted by their political parties, and also we have independents as well who are eyeing this political seat there following the death of, that is Honorable Tats Tsidia Ogwal, who actually died this year due to cancer. And really that is something also we did see going on there now. Several candidates are now being fronted, and notable among them is actually the daughter, Aloch, who is the daughter to the late. And now several people are actually saying that she needs to be voted. And FDC recently, when they were there, I did see them also talking about voting for this lady, just because some of the candidates also said the mother was a big mentor to them. And while they were at Parliament, the mother of the late very, very much helped them during their process in Parliament. And that is one reason why the voters of that area there need to also let the daughter continue with the strategies and really what the mother started. And really that is something also which has drawn mixed reactions among the members of the public who are really also talking about the same, that maybe if we start making all these things there, we may turn Uganda into a monarch. Is that really true? And really, because I've often seen this happening now, it is not going to be the first time if Fatoshi makes it through. I'll mention about 3 names that did go on, and really these were daughters or sons of the lates, and really we did see them actually taking various positions. That is starting right from members of parliament. We have also seen this stretching up to LC5. And really this is something I must say now is happening, and really is that the way to go? That is something also really we did see there. Now starting off, really somebody may want to also really know maybe how many candidates in Dokolo Women Representative have promised. Really we have seen so many of these candidates are promising to deliver robust socio-economic transformation in the area if elected successors to the late, that is Honorable Cecilio Ogwal. This is something that we are seeing also these members of parliament, maybe these candidates are promising. And last week the Electoral Commission declared 7 candidates to run the vacant seat after Ogwal's death. That was on 18th January this year. And one of the independent candidates, that is Dr. Grace Hannah Lalam, who is NRM leading, has however withdrawn from the race after losing interest in the seat. That is something we did see going on there. And 6 aspirants are now battling to succeed the late legislature later, and will have to battle over 93,700 registered voters. And these nominated candidates include that Adongo Elau, who is of NRM, and Miss Aguti Nyankori from the UPC, and not forgetting Ogwal's daughter, that is Rosemary Aloch, who is with Forum for Democratic Change, as well as Harriet Ageno, who is of National Unity Platform, and Dr. Esther Kulo Otada, and Miss Rebecca Arao, who are independent candidates. And now all these are vying to take over that seat there. Who exactly will go through, that is something I do not know, but really I want to say the Dokolo district, with the population projection of that is over 200,000 people, has 173 polling stations and over 93,700 registered voters. And all these are going to be taking place in these elections here, which is just maybe a few days to come. And very soon we may also see, because the last day I do understand that was yesterday, yes, and really also we may also see these elections now proceeding to the actual voting, and where we also expect that very day the declaration of who exactly has been declared the winner there. And this is where we're also seeing the EC now preparing very much to avoid any anomalies that could have arisen from this maybe this process here. And to avoid all this, there's need for them now to work together. And this is something we're also seeing now. The candidates are trying their very best to see to it that their votes are not rigged, because in most cases during elections like this, you hear tendencies of vote rigging, and really want to also now pray and hope for the same not to happen, because really if these things happen, maybe it lowers our credibility. Also, it really maybe lowers the democracy of our nation. So I think that is something we need to avoid. And really, if we are to see maybe all these things going on. And later on the show so as well, we are going to be joined by, that is Stephen Okello, that is in Gulu. We were supposed to have him yesterday, but due to network, we could not really have him. But today we are hopeful that we are going to be having an update from him all the way from Gulu there. And that is one reason you also need to be part of the show. And you need not to also miss the show, because definitely this is the show that is going to let you know of information happening around the world. And that is one reason also WESTNILE television is there, to enlighten the region. And one way to enlighten the region from the morning is always good, because if you start off your day with a bright smile or from a bright point of view, definitely it will also really end brightly for you there. And this is one reason you must be informed. And that is also why we are here. It is to keep you informed and updated of what is happening in the world of current affairs. And remember, it is quite simple. All you need to do is just stay connected, and we are there to give you the information, and the information that would also really have an impact on your lives. So that is one reason as to why you must not miss the show. And apparently that is one also reason we are here. Today is the Wednesday edition, and for those who are just joining us right now, I must say it is the 20th of, that is the month of March. And really that should be a warning to you, whoever is not maybe achieving the plans, because the days are running so fast. What have you done so far as far as the plans that you wanted to achieve at the beginning of the year are concerned? That is one thing also I must be posing to you as the viewer of the show. And really, if you have not yet achieved any, you need not to give up. And really, there are still very many days. All you need to do is start strategizing now ahead of time, also to see to it that you also achieve maybe what you want to achieve. That at the end of the day will also be very good for you there. And really, for those who haven't achieved very much at this time, you need to continue working very hard. At the end of the day, God will listen to your prayers. And I do understand that at this point of time where we are seeing the heat waves surging, it is really not maybe also good for some people because we are now seeing people sleeping outside. But really, how is the security of their homes? That is something we need to be mindful of, because with this period here where it is very hot and cannot allow you to sleep in your houses, definitely people are going to be sleeping outside on mats, on their mattresses, but which may also come with its own negative repercussions. And this is for those who have smartphones. Nowadays, we are living in an era where there are smartphones, unlike over the years where we used to sleep outside without our phones. So I think to avoid being stolen by the thieves, we need to be very, very mindful really with our phones. And really we need to also ensure that security as we are sleeping out is also guaranteed, because thieves may take advantage of this period, which may also really have its own negative repercussions here. Really, as the campaigns officially closed, that was yesterday, and ahead of Thursday's poll, which will also really take some of the promises made by different candidates or their political parties. And Dr. Lodge promised to expedite the establishment, that is, of a historical site in Kangai sub-county to draw tourists in Dokolo if elected to replace her late mother. This is something that she did also mention to the people there. And she said the initiative will boost local revenue. That is also something that we did see her also talking about here. And that is one reason also maybe the voters there could vote her for. And also the district has tourism potential, but not yet tapped into but from the revenue, and that is where she wants to put her maybe the tourism site. However, the site has remained dormant with only two monuments erected, that is in memory of the two kings on the 20-acre piece of land. That's something we're also seeing there. From the late, that is from the late Cecilio Gual's daughter. They also mentioned the voters. And Ms. Aguti Nyankori said our UPC party stands for the idea that is from our multiple ethnic, religious, and political differences. Uganda can be one united country under God. That is also where she's promising, and she's, I think, promising peace and unity. That is something we are seeing there. Not forgetting NRM's Adongo Elau, who also did mention that I am the only candidate with correct diagnosis of the issues affecting the people of Dokolo. That is also the promise that she did mention there, and saying this is my homeland and I am the only one who knows the problems there. And what are the political leaders also saying, the top leadership? And we did see NRM also did comment something there, and Museveni did say NRM is the only party that can actually understand the affairs of Dokolo, and with the capacity also to perform. That is where he did actually call upon the people of Dokolo now to ensure that they vote for this candidate here. And President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni has urged Ugandans to always vote for National Resistance Movement Party, boasting that if it's only the ruling party which can perform to the expectations of the citizens, that is one thing that we did see. NRM candidate here, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni also did comment there in the call about the elections there. And the head of state was in the area to drum support for the NRM flag bearer in the Dokolo Woman Member of Parliament race, Ms. Janet Adongo Elau, ahead of election on Thursday, which will be tomorrow. So tomorrow we shall be knowing how the people will be going to votes and really how exactly it will also be turning out there. But you as the viewer, who do you think is the potential candidate to also really win these elections here? You can also tell us maybe from your own point of view. And the reason you think the candidate that you're mentioning could be the reason as to why do you think he or she will win the elections. That is something, she will be able, because this is a woman parliament, this is a woman race, typical for women. Definitely we would not expect any man to aspire in these elections here. So who exactly do you think is that woman who will be able to be elected ahead of tomorrow's election? So who do you think has that vivid, maybe support in your own opinion, and why do you think that candidate is the best and really to win these elections here? And that's one reason also you can also tell us maybe what you think about these elections here, and that definitely will also really be reflected on the screens, and that is one thing I must say, we must take advantage of maybe what is happening there. And really we are here to continue with the show. In case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. This is the Kokoliriko live show on WESTNILE television. And really, you can also really watch us any time of the world. And moving on, man boxes colleague to death over barmaid. This is something we're also seeing here very, very sadly. It is a sad one, really, where we do not expect such instances to go on, but really it is happening. You wonder what is really happening to society, but really you box somebody over barmaid. You know, these barmaids also, if you have ever been to these bars, they are for everyone. You see them pretending to be really also for everybody, really, because they have to attract businesses. And this is something also really where when you see people now boxing over each other over this barmaid, then it definitely becomes very, very wrong. And coupled with the issues of drunkenness and really where your mind is not sober, definitely we see some people dying easily. And really we usually say a drunkard is one that can easily die. So I think for people to avoid these barmaids, also avoid these bar fights, definitely we may also really see our lives being protected. And police in Mayuge district have arrested a man who allegedly beat up a colleague to death. That is in a brawl over a waitress at Sobas Bar and Lodge in Chikubu village, Buwaya sub-county. That is something we are seeing here on the papers this morning. And the Busoga East police spokesperson, Ms. Diana Nandaula, identified the deceased as Edrisa Wabire, a son of Ali Wabire of the same village. This is something also really we are seeing here with this, maybe this period here. It is quite unfortunate also for a Muslim person with a Muslim name to also go to these bars, and then definitely that is also really something bad there, and really for death to find you there in this period of the month. Definitely, that is also something I must say is quite unfortunate. And she added that police picked the body from the bar and took it, that is, to Mayuge Health Center for mortuary as investigations into the matter go on. Adding that murder charges have been since preferred against the suspect, and this is something also really we are seeing now over a small issue. Now you killed somebody, you're going to jail. Really, it is quite unfortunate, and really you start regretting why you did that. It is really, at times it becomes too late because you've already killed somebody, you have already made somebody to lose their life. Really, that is one reason I must also really caution against when it comes to issues of these bar fights. And the deceased father said he received the news of his son's death, that's at around 4 a.m. on Tuesday, adding that he is stuck with the body because he lacks money for the burial ceremony. That's something also really we're seeing here. Mr. Twaha Ikoba, the bar owner, attributed the tragedy to drug abuse by both parties. Really, that is something also we are seeing very unfortunate there. And he noted that this was the first incident of its kind to happen in over 5 years. The bar has been operational. So I think this is one thing also really we need to see. But how do you ensure as bar owners that the security of these people who come to your services are ensured? Because you know these are drunkards, and really people come to the bar, people come to drink, and they come to relax. But sometimes we see them also getting rowdy. How do you ensure that you protect them? That is definitely something I should be asking you, maybe the bar owners out there need to ensure, because you hear over cases of people being boxed, maybe in bars, or being hit on the head using bottles. All these tendencies have always been there. You hear somebody knocked with a bottle, or maybe bottle plugged in somebody's stomach. All these are things that we have always had happening from these bars and nightclubs. So how do you ensure that you protect the citizens, maybe through putting bouncers to ensure that this does not happen? That is also a question now I'm posing to you as the viewer, or maybe as the bar owner out there, to ensure that this does not happen. And DPP driver knocks border carrying woman struck pupil. This is also something we are seeing on the papers this morning. The Office of the Directorate of Public Prosecutions was on Tuesday forced to issue a public apology following a social media outrage after one of the official car knocked the woman and her school-going child riding on border. So I think this is something also really where we did see or talk about at the beginning of the year when schools were opening. This is something I did talk to you, where traffic issued the guideline where children are not allowed to move on borders alone, and they have to be accompanied by their mothers or at least an adult. But now we are seeing a car knocking on both parties. Really, this becomes unfortunate. It means that the solution is not that. So I think what is the solution now? It means that people who are driving on these roads need to ensure also the safety of the road users. If you're driving, that does not mean that you're the owner of the road, please. Let's ensure also in mind of the other road users. What about the pedestrians or the riders who are on these roads here? How do you protect them? But really, this is something I want to pose to you, the drivers now, because really at times you realize that these drivers are very errant. I don't know what they hurry for, but some of these drivers want to overspeed. At the end of the day, you see them losing control. You see them also dying at the end of the day, which is really quite unfortunate, after making other people lose their lives. And really the crash was captured, that's on the phone camera, by a bystander and widely shared by social media. That happened, that's on Chibuye roundabout in Kampala, involving the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution's carriage. So number that is UG is 1059J, and really this is something we did see happening there. Although Kui said they had reached out of the victims, and we are working closely with police authorities to manage the situation and ensure that they receive all the necessary support. Cases of indiscipline by government drivers on Ugandan roads are common, partly due to impunity. And this is where we have been talking about the issues of impunity, where really these government drivers are very, I don't know how, but they do not mind of the other road users. More so those with sirens. Happening in Kampala, where they are very impatient, where they do not want to keep time, they do not want to stand in jam. You just see somebody maybe driving on the wrong lane. That is the impunity we are talking about, and all these have been happening over the years, despite the several warnings by traffic police, but really which have not very much yielded. So I think what is the way to go now? What's the way forward? And I think the way forward is now ensuring that maybe those who drive these vehicles maybe very badly can also be brought to book, because at the end of the day you realize that these keep on making innocent people lose their lives. And how do we protect the lives of the citizens, more so those who are not in the cars? For instance, the pedestrians, and the pedestrians really realize that the school-age going children are the ones that we say die very, very much in terms of accidents every year. And recently, during the police crime report released, you realize that so many accidents also involve school-going age children, more so in Kampala, where the cases of border borders were very much high. So how do we ensure that we protect the citizens? That is also the question now I want to pose to you, the viewer, this morning. You can also really share your opinions with us as far as how we can help on this issue. Because at the end of the day, really, we need to help this society. We need to help this society here, really, where we are seeing people dying in hands of accidents. And really, there's, I think, much more that needs to be done. And that definitely calls for concerted efforts where we need to work together in terms of avoiding these issues here. And I want to now congratulate that person who recorded the video, because had it not been that way, we could not be having evidence, because really we usually say of evidence. We need to talk about evidence, evidence, evidence. And DPP is actually where maybe also justice is where now we expect justice for those who were actually knocked, and really also maybe provide them the necessary help that they require, because this woman and the child were going to school and really the driver has now knocked them. What next? That is something that we are now talking about. And this is not the first time, by the way, such instances happen. And in the past, we realized that in 2020, a government vehicle knocked 5-year-old baby dead. And this is something we did see, leaving the mother and another relative seriously injured. This is something that did happen over the years. And the accident occurred, that's at Bushalifu Trading Center, that's in Hawaii Corner Sub-County. That is Tirinyi Mbale Highway, 2 miles from Namutumba District. And also in September 22, a 37-year-old Julius Mugarura was knocked dead by an army truck that was driving on the wrong side of one-way lane that's around Mulago Hospital. And this is where, by the way, around Mulago is where you realize that these drivers are very errant. Moving to Wandegear, this is where you also see government vehicles are very impatient. And if you really want to realize the impatience by these government drivers, you need to move maybe these areas I've mentioned. For instance, around Mulago, then stretching that is to Wandegear, and also not forgetting the Zambia lane. You realize that this is where the drivers are very errant, and not forgetting Entebbe Road, where these would not want to keep they do not want to really keep their pace. And you realize that somebody is, there's traffic jam, cars have been stopped, but somebody is not stopping. And really, they find them also colliding with other vehicles who are coming from the other side of the road. So I think all this need to be also helped. And it becomes worse with these vehicles of forces who are really very, very much, I don't know how to call them, but at times you also see them clashing with traffic officers. Really, that is something also we have seen, maybe also police also coming out to injure the traffic police officers who are stopping them. That is really wrong. We need to ensure that we talk about that. At the end of the day, we want safety of the citizens also. So for those who are it's not only your mandate. And really with that, we come to another short commercial break. And when we return back, we shall be able to have lots more of the discussions here as we continue on. And remember, so many of these things continue to happen each and every day. But really, I must say, we have to ensure that we protect the citizens now. Everybody has the mandate, as you, the citizen or the driver, also has your role to play in terms of protecting the other road users. And really, that is one thing I now want to question to you, the public, about. And really, also, in your own opinion, as the viewer, what do you think needs to be done to such errant drivers? What kind of punishment best suits them? That is something that you can feel free to drop on our comments there as we return back from the short commercial break. And we shall be in place, obviously, to read through some of your comments. For now, it's a short commercial break, and when we return back, we still have lots more to discuss with you. Thank you so much.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023. AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
WESTNILE TV, lighting up the region.
All right, very, very good morning to you. Welcome back from that short commercial break. We are into the second quarter of the first hour. Really, I must say you're most welcome from wherever you're watching us from. This is the Kokoliriko live show. Now, I've been joined by Dr. APANGU. PontiouS. He is the health officer for ARUA City. And we are going to be talking something about TB. And you realize that today we have so many cases where we initially knew about cough. And really, while growing up, if we knew somebody coughing, and really would very much think about TB. But today we are getting to realize so many maybe cases of TB. Really, we realize that some people cannot be walking, and really it is also said to be TB of the bones. Now, the doctor is in house. He is also going to be telling us more of this type, maybe other cases of TB, and then the prevalence rate of TB in ARUA. Definitely, he will also really be telling us more about that. But before wasting any time, allow me welcome you on board, and also to say good morning to you, the viewer. That would also really be quite good before we get to have the discussions. You're most welcome, Dr. APANGU.
Thank you so much.
You're most welcome. As you can see on your screens, that is Dr. APANGU PontiouS, Health Officer, ARUA City. And really, Doctor, today there's this thing that is happening. You realize that so many maybe cases of TB are being said out there. First of all, when somebody becomes disabled, they say it is TB. Maybe first take us to the prevalence rate of TB, and then the different types of TB. That would be quite good for somebody who is out there maybe watching the discussion in relation to TB for the very first time.
Yeah, thank you so much, moderator. TB is an infectious disease caused by mycobacterium of the tuberculous type. TB is a disease of humans, but also a disease that can affect animals, what we call the bovine TB. TB is not a recent disease. It is a disease that has been there for some time, and it affects almost the entire world. However, it is very prevalent or common in the third world. So we can summarily say TB is a disease of impoverished states, where there is poverty, where there is poor health, you know. TB is acquired mainly through, is an airborne disease. The infected person coughs out the TB, bacilli, in the air. And this is picked up by a susceptible person. We call it susceptible because it depends on the immunity. Persons who have strong immunity may survive TB infection even when they're in contact with the infectious person. But those with the weak immunity, the children, people who have other immunocompromised states like diabetes, HIV, cancer, malnutrition, even the pregnant women are in those categories of susceptible people who can quickly pick TB from an infected person. And you can only pick TB from an infected person if the person has what we call pulmonary TB. Well, I'll come to the types of the TB. So you can see the people who are at risk of contracting TB. Now, in West Nile, TB is very prevalent again. Actually, in the whole country, West Nile is one of the districts or regions that has a high prevalence of TB. And on the reporting, it's one of the regions that performs very well in the identification and management of TB. Despite the high prevalence of TB in the region, the TB management outcomes are also good. Now, see, it's one thing diagnosing that puts you in a higher global picture or regional picture. So, other regions that may not show up well in the national picture may be because truly the TB incidences or prevalences there are very low. But the other side may be true that actually they are not detecting so much, yet the TB is there. There are targets given for each district, and specifically for ARUA, where ARUA City was supposed to detect about 254 cases in a year.
Yes, Doctor,
and
maybe, sorry to cut you short, if I may be able to ask, how is the, maybe how many cases are we registering from ARUA City here? Because you realize that we had several of these initiatives to talk about TB. If you move to the health facilities, right, you see so many charts are displaying message that is in protection, and also in maybe in as far as people can protect themselves from TB. But all these are not yielding very much, and we hear of cases of new TB emerging. For instance, that TB, for me, I got to hear of the very first time, TB that really comes and affects the bones, where it can make one become crippled. Maybe if you can also really take us through about that new trends, or maybe different types of TB, it would be very, very good.
Yeah, Moderator, I'm coming to that. I was at the point of saying, based on the regional estimates, targets are given per districts. And for ARUA, we have been given a target of 254, I think, cases to detect in a year. And often we have surpassed this. So that means almost every year we detect over 250 cases of TB.
This is annual?
Yes, okay. Across all our facilities. Now, this comes to really the different types of the TB that you really want to know. As said, one, we have what we call pulmonary TB and extrapulmonary TB. Now, pulmonary TB again has two types. What we call a smear positive pulmonary TB. This is now where someone who has the lung TB is very infectious, coughs up the sputum, and can infect others. Then we have a smear negative pulmonary TB. Okay. It affects the lung tissues, but this person is unable to cough sputum, microbacterium, but still has pulmonary TB. Then we have extrapulmonary TB. This is not TB outside the lungs. One, it has several classes now. One, we have what we call bone TB. This now, it affects mostly the spine. And this is where people end up with paralysis, weakness of the legs. People have a swelling along the at any point in the midline of the back. We have what we call miliary TB. That's also extrapulmonary TB. We have what we call TB of the brain. It affects the meninges, the coverings of the brain. We have TB of the intestines. We also have TB of the other organs like the kidneys. And we also have TB that affects the sex organs, especially the testicular organs. So now you realize that the detection of TB or having TB may not mainly be shown by having a cough. People may not cough, but there are cardinal signs or symptoms that we can have. Suspect that someone has TB. 1, there is weight loss. 2, there is fever, especially the evening fevers and sweating. 3, people may complain of loss of appetite. And especially in children, you may find that children may tend towards malnutrition. Also, we have loss of weight, loss of appetite,
so
failure to feed well, failure to thrive.
TB can also attack the young children.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. But by the time in a family, a child has shown up with TB, then likely is an adult who has TB. Because children pick their TB from what?
From parents.
From infectious adults.
Could it be genetic also transmitted?
No. There's no genetic relationship. It is basically an environment issue.
Okay.
Yes. Because we pick up the TB from the air, but also we can pick it from our cows here, our cattle, what we call now the bovine TB. Now, how do we get the bovine TB? Bovine TB, we quickly pick it through consumption of unpasteurized milk and the poor, preparations of meat harvested from infected animals. So it is very important to note here is that our colleagues, the veterinary doctors, need to very well do surveillance in animals and screen and make sure that really we don't have our cattle that are infected. But also, even if they do that, now at the domestic level, at the household level, we need to prepare our milk very well. We really need to prepare our beef very well so that we don't consume raw products.
Meaning that disease is also zoonotic in nature. That can we also, maybe humans, give it back to the animals instead of the animals giving it to us?
No. Humans don't give back to animals, but humans simply pick it from the animals through the ingestion of the animal products, as we said, the milk and the beef. Yeah, so you can realize that TB is a disease that has been there for some time, and efforts have been in place to, 1, create awareness, 2, to increase screening and diagnosis, 3, to really treat those who are diagnosed with the TB, and 4, to really discharge those who are treated back to the community, and 5, to ensure that the community actually welcomes and receives these people who are already treated.
Yes.
But now, why the cast TB now? Monitor, you realize that it is a World Health Organization, and together with the Ministry of Health of Uganda, we have realized that despite the routine efforts, certain services, certain programs, the uptake is very poor, very slow. You can see from time immemorial, TB has been a disease of long time. Efforts for treatment have been there, but we continue to have TB. That means there's a loophole somewhere. There's a problem somewhere, either at the community or with the health systems. And so, Ministry of Health comes up with what we call the CAST TB. Now, the CAST TB is a community awareness, screening, and treatment. Intensified program, campaign, so as to increase access to knowledge about the TB, so as to increase access to screening. You can realize that those days, we only do screening at the facility. And what we screen at the facility is just a small proportion of the people out there who could be sick. Now, you realize that when people say TB is infectious, and so someone see someone coughing, there's a tendency to distance from that person who's coughing, which is good for us. But also distancing yourself from a neighborhood or a family member who is coughing is a passive way of stigma.
Yes. I was actually coming to the problem of stigma.
Yes.
You know, talking about stigma among the people who have TB, in very much cases, the society very much runs to HIV. Maybe if you can be able to tell us the connection between TB and HIV, it would be very, very good.
Well,
and maybe where the difference is, because in most cases,
yes,
you realize that when somebody is said to be having TB, in most cases, the minds of the society very much runs to that is the HIV/AIDS. Yes. Where is the connection?
Yeah. I was coming with the issues of stigma. So now, when there is a stigma, now people remain in the community. People don't come up openly to the facility screen. So those who come up may be a proportion of those many who have remained in the community. Therefore, the focus of the CAS TB is to shift screening from facility level to community level, using the community structures, the LUCs, the VHTs, the other opinion persons, people who are out there in the community who may not have capacity to bring their patients, their people who are sick to the facility cannot get the service at their disposal. Now, as I said, it may be a disease it is a disease of stigma. People say, okay, I don't want to get infected. I don't want to be associated with you, because they will also start saying that I am this. Now, the relationship of TB and HIV is this. Both TB and HIV are actually diseases of social stigma. They are diseases that compromise immunity. Now, there is almost a 50% relationship that if someone has TB, then likely in the background there could be HIV. Because, you know, immunocompromised quickly calls for other diseases that otherwise would have not been there. But if someone has TB, HIV, because HIV is also a disease of immunosuppression, likely that TB, which ideally should have not been there, finds its way and coexist with HIV. Because one of my earlier conclusions was that it is a disease of immunosuppression. It is a disease that affects people whose immunity is compromised. So people's immunity can be compromised by cancers, can be compromised by HIV, can be compromised by diabetes, can be compromised by pregnancy, can be compromised by immunosuppression, can be malnutrition, can be compromised by age, elderly, and the children are immunocompromised. So that's why if you find in our facilities, we have children who have TB because their immunity is still low. We have the elderly on the other end. Even if they don't have other comorbidities, the immunity because of age is already down, and the risk of actually having TB is also very high among that category. So that is the relationship between TB and the HIV. So this CAS TB campaign is intended to increase awareness, is intended to increase access to screening and treatment. Now, those whom we usually take sputum, in this CAS TB campaign from the communities, and the sputum is taken to the facilities for testing. Okay. Where the test is positive, then we again get back to the community to communicate and get out that particular community member who has tested positive, and we bring the person for treatment. Okay. This is not the first time we are having a CAS TB campaign. We have ever held it, and people who otherwise would have not accessed the services because of other reasons have actually gotten chances and got services. So we want to encourage the community, we want to encourage everyone here. Actually, as we talk now, CAS TB campaign actually started on Sunday, and it will go throughout up to Saturday. and we want to really, people will come up. You know, there is what we call community taking up programs in their hands. Because, you know, someone says health is made from home,
okay,
but
Doctor,
repaired in the facilities.
Because of time, we are going to be running for a short commercial break, and really when we come back, we shall expect you maybe tell us what exactly the community needs to do to avoid these issues of TB, and what exactly they can also protect themselves, and how exactly they can also protect themselves with that TB there. And we're just 1 minute after 8 a.m. Let's first run for this short commercial break, and when we return back, we shall be able to pick up the conversation there. Thank you.
Okay.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on Star Times. Star Times brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your Star Times subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. Star Times, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
welcome back from that short commercial break. In case you're just joining us right now, you're most welcome aboard. And really, if you kept it right from the time it began, we say thank you so much. And you can still continue being part of the show and also sharing your comments. That is via the various feedback generating platforms. For those of you catching us via Facebook, you can drop your comment there. And not forgetting those of you also watching us via YouTube, you can as well drop your comments there. And for the corporates watching us via X, which is formerly known as Twitter, you can also as well drop your comments there because we are on all these platforms. And really, you can also really maybe drop your comments there and we shall be able to share. If it's a question, I will be able to hand it over to the guest. And Dr. APANGU is still with me and he will be able to maybe also give you answers to what we're discussing here in case you want to know something that's in relation to TB. Definitely he is the man that will be able to give you that information there. And we are still continuing, and before we did go for the break, he was talking of how best the community could actually protect itself from TB. That is where I want to also bring him back on and to continue with that discussion and let us know what exactly can be done to avert TB among the society that is in the West Nile sub-region, and realize that in most parts of the region, more so those are along the border districts, we are getting to realize that tendencies of TB are emerging from those areas there. For instance, within the border districts of around Odamachaku, areas around Odamachaku, and other parts of our district which are bordering neighboring South Sudan. And this is where we are saying, and we're also getting to hear of the TB cases emerging very, very much vividly there. And maybe if you can be able to tell us what exactly needs to be done, that would also really be quite good there. You're most welcome, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Before we went for commercial break, I was mentioning that, people needed to take programs in their hands, especially community programs. We are aware that TB is an infectious disease, and we are aware of people who are at risk of getting the TB. And we are also aware that since that time, when TB came into existence, it has continued to exist with us. What do we need to do? One, we needed to continue with the awareness creation through all the fora, whether through the media, whether through our places of gathering, whether in the health facilities. We need to tell people TB is still with us, and it is infectious disease. It's a disease that can kill when not treated. Two, we needed to take responsibility. People who have a cough for more than 2 weeks, associated with the loss of appetite, associated with the loss of weight, regardless of whether they are children, whether they are adults, the household members must be able to support this person, and they report to the nearest health facility for screening. Unfortunately, children may not cough, but when you see a child who has failed to grow despite adequate feeding, a child who has failed to gain weight, a child is becoming malnourished, so be able to bring up this child to the facilities for screening for TB. Three, issues of stigma does not help us. Community solidarity. If you see a neighbor, someone in the neighborhood who has no care, but someone is sick, because it's a disease that we can say we don't want. If we say we don't want, then there are those things that we must do to make sure that the disease is not there with us. Community solidarity and psychosocial support to those who either have TB or actually are having symptoms of TB. We identify them, we link them to the facilities, and those who are already on treatment, we support them to make sure that they complete the treatment.
At a cost of free of charge?
It's free. TB treatments are free. TB diagnosis is free. Now, we have what we call CB dots, community-based direct observed treatment. When we treat these TB cases in the facility for 1 or 2 weeks, we discharge them to continue the treatment at home, because it may be costly in the facility in terms of feeding, in terms of movement of the relatives of this person, back and forth, you know. But when the person gets better, we say, go home. We encourage on feeding, we encourage on psychosocial support, we encourage on directly observed treatment at home. So it is therefore important here that cases of TB that are already at home need to be closely observed and supported by their relatives. We have realized that when we send these people home, what we call the failure rate is high, simply because the household members abandon this person, feeding is poor, the treatment also has its own side effects. So when people are not supported, then they lose hope. They abandon the treatment. But when they abandon the treatment, now the bacilli, which was already going down, picks up again. In such kind of situations, now they end up with default, they end up with relapse, and at this point in time, the outcomes tend to be very poor. May result into death, may result into resistance of the bacilli to the TB treatment, and they may result in reinfection and the infection of household members. Now, to the families, to the communities, where you have a case that has TB, all the household members need to be traced and screened. Now, this is where we have a problem. Contact tracing, because the first contacts are the household members, whether the children, whether the spouses, whether whatever. All those need to be brought and screened. Just screening means we are going to ask you, do you have fever? Do you have night sweats? Have you seen weight loss? So that if we find any of these present with you, we are going to put you on preventive treatment. Okay. In this preventive treatment, we are going to interrupt the progression. If at all you got the bacilli, we are going to interrupt the transmission from the infected person to the uninfected, who is actually a household member. Okay. Once we don't do this, even if we treat this, whether the outcome is good or bad, over some time, you who is a household member and who has actually gotten in contact with the infected person will actually develop TB and actually even reinfect, you know, because many times we have seen that one household member is infected, then the others later on also start coughing and say, no, this is not TB now, it is the flu. It's our usual, you know, but you already have TB. So I am calling the community to listen to this. If you forget everything, if you refuse everything, pick up this. One household member who is diagnosed with the pulmonary positive TB, all household members need to be screened. So it will be good for you to let us screen all those contacts so that we put them on treatment. Okay. The last thing is we need to improve on our nutrition, especially focusing on the children, the pregnant women, and the elderly, and also those who are immunosuppressed, those who have diabetes, those who have cancer, those who have, so that when the nutrition status is good, because you know, immunity does not come externally.
Doctor, you know, one challenge about nutrition in this region is that when you talk about nutrition, people very much think of meat, people think about fish, people think about other things. Maybe in 30 seconds, because we really also need to use the 15 minutes and talk about infant mortality rates in this region, we realize that West Nile sub-region is actually leading in terms of deaths of these infants here. Maybe in 30 seconds, first tell us about this issue of nutrition, which may be other foods that these people need to consume. Because when you talk about nutrition in West Nile sub-region, I must say most of the people very much think it is fish, it is meat. That's where their mind ends. What exactly is nutrition? When maybe that's nutritious feeding, and what exactly do they need to eat such that they have this balanced diet, maybe this balanced kind of feeding?
Thank you. What I am telling you, West Nile is blessed. As well, Uganda, among other countries in Africa, is blessed. Good climate, and almost all what we needed to eat is there. Good nutrition means balanced food, balanced diet. Greens are available. The first thing you must think of if you want to have a good nutrition is you must have greens every time in your meals. Yes, we need, because greens are generally they are vitamins, and vitamins we know are what the food, the part of the food that protects the body. We need the proteins, right? Proteins, we can get them even from beans. We can get proteins from meat, from fish, whatever you mention them. So when we talk of good nutrition, we mean that these things must be balanced across the scale. We have the carbohydrates. These cassava, maize, whatever, we have them. So balanced food, balanced diet is the basis of nutrition. We have the fruits. Fruits are available. Eating fruits every morning before a meal, before breakfast, is far better. Is far better than packing, loading your stomach with molokoni and what, you know. So people need to know what should I eat, when should I eat, in what quantities should I eat. Okay, across there.
Okay, that does it for the discussion in relation to TB. And now let's do some small talk that is on infant mortality rates. And really, we did see a document circulating recently where West Nile region was placed, that is ahead of the rest of the regions in terms of that's mortality rates. And we stand at, that's at 54.9%. That is in relation to the child mortality rates. And we are leading, and really this should be something that we must be worried of. And really, I don't know what causes all this. And really, I through an interaction with one of the medical personnel off air sometime, and the medical personnel actually told me that this is resulting from also sometimes, not only maybe from the other part of the government, but sometimes also members of the public have a role to play when it comes to the issue of trying to avoid child mortality rates. What exactly is the cause of this, and why is West Nile sub-region placed at that top there, in your own opinion?
Yeah, thank you so much. Infant mortality is actual death of children within 1 year of birth. And mostly this is statistics from our facilities, but also the community data is also there. Now, you know, the survival of an infant is based on a number of factors. One, the survival of the parents. So infants who have lost their parents or mothers before reaching 1 year of birth have a lesser chance of actually reaching with 1 year or beyond 1 year. Two, infants whose parents are mobile. I want to tell you, we have seen institutions here, even in ARUA city. Now, because of low income status, because of the urge to maybe to look for money to care for the family, a child is born, a baby is born. We expect that the mother should really be at home, 6 weeks or 3 months, what we call maternity leave. But hardly 2 weeks, this woman is on a bicycle, running everywhere to look for ends meet. So failure to concentrate to breastfeed the baby, to look after the nutritional requirements and the bondage between the baby and the mother denies this infant the chance of survival. And in such kind of situation, we see women quickly introduce external, feeding. This work of ours now, people are looking for business, people are looking for what. Now the children are put on external milk, and other foods, which the baby cannot hold. And this is one of the things that will result into malnutrition. Now, we also have other issues. Many children, if I will tell you the statistics.
Let me come to the issue of power within these health facilities. You realize that most of our health facilities are operating either on solar or generator, or perhaps this unstable one record that we're talking about. How is this maybe also impacting on these child mortality rates at the health facilities?
I mean, moderator, I'm coming to this. You know, we have what we call community and health facility based, you know, factors. Now, at the facility level, we have you know, at times mothers come with the babies, with the pregnancy, with the labor when it is late. We have ever had what we call fresh stillbirths. We have what we call macerated stillbirths. Now, infections in pregnancy or other factors that really affect the pregnancy may result into intrauterine fetal deaths. And the mother will come to the facility, want to deliver a dead baby. We have, yes, in our facilities, some facilities have power. Some facilities don't have power. Those that have power is erratic. No, power is erratic. Power goes off now and then, and some of these babies are born what we call premature. Premature babies need life support outside, you know, and some babies are born with low birth weight. Low birth weight babies, premature babies, need to be put on some kind of life support, what we call the NICU, neonatal intensive care units, you know, where you make them gain some weight, maybe gain some ages before they are discharged and given to the mothers to be taken home. Such babies are very fragile. Any contamination, any inconsistencies of power and what will take off life out of this baby. Yes, some of our facilities, most of the facilities are actually not even on the grid. They are lying on solar. Of course, solar with its maintenance costs is also another issue. The other issue I can say is that among the health workers, yes, most of the health workers are there, technical, skills, competencies. You find that one midwife is delivering, is attending to mothers whose babies are a problem. Here and outside, the mothers are,
it becomes a challenge.
Yes. So we needed to really scale up the number of health workers in our facilities so that we have adequate number of health workers who should be attending to. If you went to the Victoria Health Hospital now, you may find that there may only be 1 or 2 midwives. One is taking a mother to theater. Another mother is pushing. Another mother, they have just come. I need attention. So in this kind of situations, for sure, you find that your competency is compromised. And at times, at the end of it all, you end up with the maybe poor birth outcomes for some of these babies. But most importantly, these are mostly preventable. They are actually mostly preventable deaths. Now, prevention starts from home. Some of these babies, and when we start from home, from the community, I want the community to hear this. We have also seen our teenage pregnancy is very high. Okay,
before coming to that, how is the issue of turning up for antenatal care contributing to this?
Well, fine. Antenatal coverages are also very not good. Many mothers come when they are about 5 months. According to Ministry of Health standards, you must be able to attend 8 pregnancies, 8 antenatal visits. That means, as for today, when a lady realizes that she has conceived, she should report to the spouse and report to the facility for the first time. And should be able to come every month. I tell you, every month you come, there are a number of things that you are going to learn that will be helpful. It is very risky in the first 3 months when a lady is still hidden in the house, one does not want to know, does not want the community to know that she is pregnant, until when it is not avoidable, then she comes up. And when it is late, risk of miscarriages, risk of complications are very high. But so the reality here is that our antenatal coverages are a little bit low, and even the completion rates, because if you are to have 8 antenatal visits, the completion rates are very low. Even among where it is 4 visits, even the completion rates are also still low. So in such kind of sessions, by the time we tell the mother there's a problem with your pregnancy, we have what called the risk mothers. These risk mothers need to be identified early. Risk mothers are these. We have the teenagers. We have mothers with the other comorbidities, HIV, diabetes, cancer, TB, which we talked about. Mothers who have previous cesarean section scars. Mothers who have had a very a bad obstetric history. Bleeding, they bleed a lot. You know, these mothers are what we call risk mothers that needed to be closely attended to and frequently. So that in the event of anything, decisions can be taken timely to save the life of the mother as well as to save the life of the baby. Now, in such kind of situations where antenatal completion rates are very low, and also coming to now reporting when actually a time for labor has come, some of these mothers come when they are actually in second stage. Second stage of labor is where the baby is already pushing. Okay. It's already coming out. They end up what we call birth before arrival. Others deliver on the road, you know. So there are a number of things that really contribute to this infant mortality rates. But now, the issue is here now. One, we need to prepare. Community need to prepare for marriage. It's not all about, I have a young girl here who looks very beautiful. Then, parents, you must retain children and especially girls in school. Girls, we must retain them in school for long if we are to avoid these pregnancies. But also, parents need to talk to the children, because not all those who are retained in school may end up, people, we need to talk to our children. But also now, my dear moderator, most of these teenage pregnancies are caused not by teenagers. They're even caused by men who are married. They're even caused by men who are parents.
Who take advantage of these girls.
Who take advantage of these girls. This is extremely very unfortunate for me. So, the emphasis here is that it must be a social responsibility. Parents, men must note that it is not good to engage, in a sexual relationship with your daughter. Not really biological daughter, because this girl is your daughter.
Doctor, you're not talking about that issue there. We have several factors that could be contributing to this issue of early pregnancy. First of all, we are living at an era where most of the parents are now sharing the houses with their children, and the children get to learn some of these things from the parents. And at the end of the day, they go out and practice. And when they are practicing, and with that kind of knowledge which is lacking, you realize that sexual education is not something that is being maybe taken priority of in this region, where parents do not tell their children about maybe these issues of reproductive health, or maybe also letting their children know of how, if they engage in early sex, the repercussions will be to them. And that is something that could be lacking. And then maybe, what advice do you have for the parents out there, more so the women who could be pregnant, and where we're seeing these child mortality rates also increasing and WESTNILE being placed at the lead? And really, what message do you have for them to see that these numbers, maybe in the next release, it will be down and WESTNILE cannot be placed maybe at the top like how it is appearing today?
Yeah, you see, that's what I'm saying. Parents need to know that they have a role to play. One, to ensure that they keep these children in school. Two, they also have to provide, we have those cultural education, and that's where maybe they say now it's the mother who talks to the girls, it is the man who talks to the boys. What do you talk to the boys? What do you talk to the girls? So we need to, and this talk, how do you look after yourself? You are not at this age. You have started having menstruation periods, and what is the likely, because the children also discuss among themselves, what is this, and also in the school they teach them when you start having this, ABC is happening. So parents need to talk to the children, on issues of sexual health in their own cultural way, But also at the schools, most of our girls in schools have even started seeing their periods. We have what we call the school health, senior women teachers and senior men teachers. We need to talk to these people. Risk of, because when I was in secondary, when they teach in biology, reproductive, call it reproduction or something of that kind. Now, we will be looking at, hey, you, see, hey, these things are there. So for sure, because of this, people may want to actually demonstrate. So when we are teaching these children in the schools, then we need to emphasize, yes, we are imparting academic knowledge, but what is the risk of this knowledge on people's behavior? The teachers must be assessing the behavioral risks that these children may go through, either in the school or when they actually get out of school during the holidays, something of that kind. But the other thing I was saying that we need to avoid early teenage pregnancy because it is a contributor of actually the infant mortality rates. So we need to make sure that we prepare these guys, we avoid these teenage pregnancies. Two, we need to make sure that really, as soon as a lady, as soon as a couple conceives, you must really start antenatal services. And getting, during the antenatal service, it's not necessary that you always come and they give you treatment. Okay. You go and get education. How do you look after this pregnancy? Okay. And especially for those who have what we call the first pregnancy. Okay. Yes.
Maybe as we are coming to the end of the program, really, I don't know how many cases we are registering as ARUA hospital. Let's sample ARUA hospital, how many cases of infant mortality rates we are registering. And then maybe that will also help you put your final words as we are rushing out of the time. I don't know if you have the statistics.
I can't have it now, but what I am aware of is that if the infant mortalities in the hospital are very high, the reasons are one, because it is it is the highest level of the facility here, and we have what we call community referrals and facility referrals. Cases that we cannot manage in the lower facilities, we end up referring them to the hospital, and we may refer them when actually it is late. They end up actually registering the death. But I may not run away from if at all some of the cause of the death are related to the hospital issues there. But this is what I'm trying to tell you, that it's the referral hospital. It has the highest number of deliveries. Therefore, you find that also these negativities can also be higher in that level. Okay. But the other thing I forgot I want to say is that really people must really come early. People must have facility-based deliveries. People must come early, especially the risk mothers. Please, my communities, don't keep these risk mothers with you there. A risk mother is a risk mother. We don't want the mother to die. If this picture demonstrated the maternal mortalities, you will see the relationship. There's a direct and a positive relationship between maternal death and infant mortality death. As I earlier on said, we need to make sure that all these risk mothers and actually all mothers come to deliver in the facilities. We need to stop these community-based deliveries. These TPAs were stopped by government, but I see them springing up again. And they deliver these mothers at the nose of the political leaders who are there. You know this is a policy, but TPAs continue to deliver mothers, and mothers end up dying. Babies end up dying. By the time they refer them to us, it is late. They simply refer mortality to be recorded in the facilities. Lastly is the postnatal care. Postnatal care is the care after birth. This is where we also have a very poor coverage. Because at the postnatal visits, we teach the mother on when to resume sex, how to look after her health, what should the feeding be, and what should be the health of the child. We have immunization schedules that the mother must observe so that the child gets all these vaccines for the baby. But the coverages are also a little bit not well. So it is both sides. Community demand. See, let's improve uptake for the services. At the supply side facilities, let's position ourselves to be readily available in terms of staffing, in terms of change of attitude, in terms of the logistics, but all in all, across all levels, it is mindset change. If you look at the NDP 3, one of the programs is mindset change. Whether you're a politician, whether you're a civil servant, whether you are who, we must change our mind towards a positive thing.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, as we come to the end of the program. But really, there's somebody who has commented here called Christine Tina Pachuria Madrazu, and you can really see the comment on the screen saying, thank you, Dr. APANGU. I wish we would all practice what you have said. Stigma is still a very real among all of us, and the point of getting LCs to have these issues, maybe this test should be implemented, and says, thank you so much, and I really don't know how that can also maybe work out for you there as health officials. If maybe the VHTs that we have in place can also really start implementing these tests, in my own opinion, that would also really be very, very good. Your final words, maybe in 30 seconds, maybe you feel you need to put forward as we come to a close of this show.
You know, for quality and accuracy, Ministry of Health standards that certain things need to be done at a certain level. With the VHTs are there for identification and referral. And we can educate them on sample collection. But when it comes to the testing, we do it at the facility level. But finally, I want to say, moderator, thank you this studio for mobilizing me here. And I want to thank all the listeners. I want to say, irrespective of whatever health problem, it is solely our responsibility. We need to be very receptive. We need to seek for knowledge. We need to seek where the services are. And as service providers, we need to position ourselves to be available to provide the services. But overall, as I said, we need to have a change of mind. If you are someone who has not been coming for health services, you are there in the community, please don't die because of stigma. Come up, change your mind, come up, and we will help you. But also on our sides, we also need to change, the mindset change. If we have not been doing certain things in the facilities, well, we must change our mind. We make sure that now we do things better. So that when people come, they find us there, they find the drugs there, they find everything should be available. Where there's an issue of power, we must also change our mind on ensuring that power is regularly available and all the time. Otherwise, some of the deaths are preventable, but when power goes,
there's nothing they can do. Anyways, all right, thank you so much, Doctor, for coming through to talk to the citizens and also telling the region maybe how best we can also improve on our health. And usually they say health is wealth, and remember, a sick person is one that will not be empowered economically. And with the President's initiative, that is of the socio-economic transformation, definitely where you will not necessarily be able to work towards what you want to achieve. And if you're sick, that is where you may not be able to achieve. And really with that, we come to another short commercial break. My name is Farish Majid. In case you're just joining us right now, please, you're most welcome. Stay tuned as we are still going to be giving you more. And then we shall be able to summarize the discussions for today with what is happening in the world of sports. And in ARUA City, the games are still ongoing. And yesterday, we also did see the Zombo District games also coming to a close. And I will also be letting you know maybe which school exactly won that. But for now, let's first have this short commercial break and we bounce back shortly. Thank you.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
AFCON, all 52 games live only on StarTimes. StarTimes brings you Africa's biggest football tournament, AFCON 2023 live in English and Luganda commentary. Starting January 13, don't miss Mo Salah, Sadio Mane or Nana. Lead the hunt for gold as they take center stage. Renew your StarTimes subscription today and enjoy all 52 matches in HD live on Sports Premium and Sanyuka Prime. StarTimes, the official broadcaster of AFCON 2023. This message is powered by Techno, the official sponsor of AFCON 2023.
West Nile TV, lighting up the region.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. We are already heading towards the end of the program, and that tells us maybe how exactly the show could be flowing. And I want to appreciate whoever watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say thank you so much. We do not take it lightly, and we very, very much appreciate you. For those who dropped your comments, we very, very much appreciate them. But those who have been sent, you can also keep them coming through, and I will be in place also to read through some of your comments. And that is one reason as to why we're here. This is the Kokoliriko live show that happens every Mondays to Fridays, right from the hour of 7 a.m. till 9 a.m. And from ARUA City, the weather is so bright with no signs of rains. I don't know how it is in the other parts of the world, but you can also really maybe let us know how it is maybe faring in the other parts of the world. For those in South Sudan, I do understand the heat wave there is very, very high, and really we say you need to take heart and really drink a lot of water maybe during this time here, and that is why we need the ACs, we need the fans. And in ARUA City, I can confirm to you, maybe the prices of the things that I'm talking about could be shooting up, because by yesterday I tried moving some of the shops and also tried to assess the prices of fans, and you realize that the prices have again gone up, and that could be because of the demand that we're talking about right now, and really that also may be because the demand has gone up. And remember, in business, usually when they say the demand is up, really, and the prices also really tend to go up, and that is why we are seeing this maybe happening in the other part of in the part of the city here. And now we say, for those who have them, please also ensure that you take care of them, because we are not certain about what is happening in the coming days. But experts have already confirmed that they have said this may not go for long, and maybe after 2 weeks this could also really maybe normalize, and we are waiting to see that. And that is one also hope that we have, because really some people out there, we are scared about this, but really there's no need for people to get scared, but rather we have to ensure that we protect and take care of the environment, and also through maybe also ensuring that maybe other initiatives of maybe protecting the climate is taken care of. For instance, planting trees, and also maybe taking care of the wetlands. That is one thing that we did vividly protect, and then definitely we could only also realize that this could also really maybe be able to happen and really protect the environment, and really that is one thing also really we also talk about. And now to summarize the discussions with what is happening in the world of sports, yesterday we did see Uganda's Halima Nakai winning, that is silver, in the women's 800-meter finals, finishing that is in 1 minute and 58 seconds and 59 microseconds. And really that is where we see also winning that medal there. And also the games as well did go on, that is for ARUA City quarterfinals. Some of your schools are already through, and I must say some of the schools have actually been ejected yesterday, and we did see also tendencies of hooliganism, which I did warn the citizens earlier on, and we did see them also already happening. And maybe some of the schools that did maybe progress to the next level include, that is in Vara Senior Secondary School, Arua Town College, after ejecting St. George's College Ombachi out of the tournament. We did see them also projecting, moving to the next level, and also elsewhere, that is in Zombo, where we did see Paida SS Crown, that is champions of Zombo District. And we are going to be letting you know more details of that into the whistle time. And that is why you need to be part of the whistle time, and they will be able to give you that comprehensive report and details of maybe which teams shall be able to face each other, that is in the world of maybe sports, that is at the semi-final levels. That is why you need to wait for them to come through. That will be from the hour of 2 p.m. and that is Owen Ezaga together with Linda Suzy, and Benson Pastore also will be giving you more details into that at the Nilecast at 7 p.m. So you need to be part of that, and really you will be able to know what is happening in the world of sports. And that is why we say work without play makes Jack a dull boy. And that is one reason you need to have that component of sports in your life. You need to do exercise, you need to be fit, such that you are healthy. And really we say a healthy mind is that one who is wealthy. And really with that we come to a close of today's discussion in a special way. I want to appreciate each and everybody out there who watched us right from the time we began until this hour of the morning. We say thank you so much. And up next is the news bulletin in Lubarati. That is with Fete Emmanuel. Also for those who understand the language, you need to be part of the show and also understand what is happening in the best language that you understand. And then not forgetting at midday, for the Alulu speaker, the Lembangea will also be coming through. And then at 7 p.m., the English news bulletin shall also really be coming to you and letting you know maybe what is happening in and around the society. And then with that, we come to a closer of today's